Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. And Cindy's going to get me laughing over here. So, we have dangerous storms yet again going through the south. And this time could bring widespread damaging winds. They're talking gusts as high as the mid 70s, large hail, and it could bring a few tornadoes again as well. So, what we're looking at first up is going to be basically central and eastern Texas into Oklahoma, Arkansas and Louisiana, working its way into Mississippi as well, and then heading over towards Alabama and Georgia and the Carolinas, as well as Tennessee tomorrow. So be very, very aware of this. You know, we've had more than one round already of super severe weather going on through the south. It is the spring. It is that time of year. And it's interesting, too, because we were talking to Raven in chat, and he was talking about how cool it is up there, and then we were sharing, well, we're going to be about 97, so every area has its challenges for sure. One thing that's really curious is all the asteroids, meteors, fireballs, and comets. It's been active.
It does seem like really thick lately, and they seem to be getting even closer.
Look at this one. I mean, this does not look typical. That looks like a string of pearls, does it not?
It does. It's really pretty. I don't know why it makes that, but I like it.
So back-to-back fireball events recorded over Brazil. Two very bright fireball events were recorded within 24 hours. The first at 6:43 UTC on the 23rd, and the second at 5:24 UTC on the 24th. Pretty cool, and can be actually pretty beautiful. Now, we know we had the Lyrids going, but they say this was not related to the Lyrids, either of these events. So, curious. There's an awful lot of people out there that think there's Planet X, Nibiru, Nemesis system, out there right now. Well, I mean, we are definitely getting a lot of strange things in the skies, and we have more to look at later on. That's pretty spectacular, isn't it?
It is stunning.
It is, and there's videos for you guys to check out. And we see that we have today going by at basically 1/10 of a lunar distance an asteroid 2020 HS7. Now this one is not very big. It's somewhere between 13 and 32 and a half feet, but that's a close call. So that is definitely a close call. And then we had one yesterday going by at about a third of a lunar distance as well. So we could see it's very, very active. And unfortunately, Yemen's been hit with so much. The whole world has this, plague upon the land, and has, lockdown, and some are being lifted a little bit. Now, Yemen's had war. It's a proxy war. And also they have famine, and they have massive floods, which is causing all sorts of misery. And you have to realize, too, there's so many people that are just living in refugee camps there, and there's anywhere from 5 to 10 million people minimum facing starvation. And here you have more than 100,000 affected by once in a generation flood in Yemen. So they have just been getting hit time after time after time. There's videos here, look at the horrible flooding going on. And as this says, truly none of us know how much more suffering the people of Yemen can take. It's just it's just been one thing after another for them.
It is really sad to watch this happen, and if we really think we're having a hard time, we just got to look at this.
Exactly. Widespread devastating floods hit Morocco as well. And again, you have streets and roads in a desert area turning into raging rivers. But as my good friend David, over at Adapt 2030, who's done a great job talking about these historical cycles, and congrats to David. He just went past 100,000 subscribers, so that is awesome. And I want to say congratulations to him as well. He's definitely a really good guy with a great background and a big heart and a lot of knowledge. And he's talked about these areas that back in Roman times, these were breadbaskets. These are places that grew tremendous crops, and they will again. That's the time that we're going into. So everything is changing. Intense rains triggered deadly flash floods. Ethiopia and Somalia, 83,000 displaced over there. As you see, roads just go on. Hailstorm ravages standing crops in Swabi, Pakistan. And the crop damage just keeps building. And these were tobacco, wheat, fruits, and veggies all affected as well. All the more reason why we need to do whatever we can do to support ourselves with food. Devastating floods kill, destroy homes and crops, disrupt life, and leave thousands homeless from Canada to Yemen to Ethiopia as well, as the battle against, the plague upon the land continues as well. So it's just it's one thing after another, and I'm going to touch on the first channel some of the big topics going on in a video that we'll be doing after this one. Because really, when we talk about the financial collapse, that happened back in 1929, it was the Great Depression. Well, there's a great global depression going on right now. People are, they're getting pushed to the brink.
They really are. They're getting tested and tested and tested, and my heart just goes out to so many people right now. It's sad.
God, and when we looked at Iran, at one time we had so much of Iran under floodwaters. Huge percentage of the country was. And here we have a huge sandstorm hitting central Iran, which can be pretty awe-inspiring for sure, and scary to see that rolling in. There's video there for you guys. Cold blast to sweep across parts of Australia. Melbourne expects coldest April day since 1960. And again, when we have these huge swings in temperatures, it makes for violent weather. Earthquake swarm, Campo Flegrei area in Italy as well. So we'll keep an eye on this, as we have 34 tremors, magnitudes 3.1 up to 3.1, depths between 1 and 2 kilometers. So they're shallow. And the seismologist of the Vesuvian Observatory, who analyzed these events, did not detect any anomalies with respect to the current trend. So we're watching. There's been a lot of volcanic activity, and I think we'll be seeing more and more in new places. And meanwhile, we have still basically the same swarms still kind of hanging on. As we look at Idaho, and you see you still have 19 there today. So, it's still going on. Decent activity over at Yellowstone. A few over at Salt Lake City. And we have over here about 13 right now between the Mammoth Lakes area heading on up to the area just east of Mono Lake. So this has been swarming too, and of course Ridgecrest is a given. So we'll keep an eye on it. We do have one that's pretty decent size, a 3.4 off here, off the coast of Tijuana. So still see a lot of activity over on the west coast. Check out this smoke ring. Isn't that cool?
That is super cool. Way super cool.
Looks like something Gandalf would blow.
It does.
Right?
Where's the ship that goes through it?
Exactly. So that's a smoke ring puffed by the highest volcano in Kamchatka, Russia. And by the way, it's weird. I didn't look into it too much, but I just saw a headline saying that Putin will allow people to become Russian citizens and still keep their other citizenship. That's just hit me as kind of odd, and I wonder what's going on there. Is he trying to draw people in that are, they've just had enough with the situation that they're in, whatever that situation is. We're going through a lot of stuff. We got the earth changes, of course. We got the plague going on, and maybe he could grab some people with some skills and sharp minds and get them to go and get a couple. 20 acres of mule and a shovel in Russia or something.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit baity.
Yeah, it was curious. It was just interesting to see. Okay.
E.
Gee, I wonder what happened here. And you got hundreds more birds dropping dead, this time on a cruise ship. Yeah, and I think that we just gave you our opinion on what's going on there. As I went through a couple entire states looking at the GIS map, and pretty much, if you're in a population of, well, a population that does not have a lot of the F,
I,
V,
E,
G, then there's no deaths. It really does work out that way. And if you are in a population center that has a lot of it, so in other words, if you're out in the country, I don't see any deaths, none. You know, whereas if you're in the cities, yeah. So when we look at the birds, I think that it's the canary in the coal mine, so to speak. I think that this is showing us what is really going on out there. So I wanted to share that. And talk about strange sights. We have glowing blue and purple lights in the night sky. Isn't that pretty? That is a pretty color. We're seeing a lot of weird things, and it could be plasma, it could be relationship between heavenly bodies. You know, it's just really curious what's going on out there. Maybe some motherships docking, perhaps. There's video for you guys to check out. And we wanted to talk about the Victory Gardens. And so Cindy was like, why do they call them Victory Gardens? And it's because they came out during the war, originally World War One. And you can see some of the slogans. Sow the seeds of victory. You know, grow your own fruits and vegetables. The fruits of victory. Write for a free book to the National War Garden Commission, Washington, D.C. So that's pretty, well, I guess that's pretty patriotic, right? And you know, seeing the mason jars, that'll be our next trip that we have to do into town. We're going to have to get a bunch of mason jars. I got to get a bunch more. But you see these things here. Our Victory Garden counts more than ever. World War II Victory Garden poster. Tracts of vacant land in every city, town, and village should be used for growing vegetables. They should be all the time. To feed the homeless, to feed, you know, the local communities. Why stop at all? Why not go farther? You know, why not? I mean, why do we? So this is part of our opportunity here to change things and to, you know, rewrite the way we're going to do things. So people who have no vacant land of their own should be encouraged to grow gardens for their own protection from the high cost of living, help the general situation. Landowners should be glad to contribute the use of their property for this patriotic purpose. Community organization should bring gardener and land together. This is from 1919. And they made a comeback during World War II as well. Getting out there and having the kids, fourth graders, working in the gardens. You know, there's no reason why we shouldn't do this all the time. Now think about how things have changed and how we are so reliant on the corporate giants and how the corporate giants have tried to, you know, get control of all the seeds, period. You know, because, you know, they that control the food control everything, right? But, you know, it's time for us to do things differently. And, you know, instead of growing lush, thick lawns with all sorts of chemicals on them that are creating toxic runoff, you know, instead grow our own food. This is what we should be doing. And we should be as striving for self-sufficiency as much as possible. And we'll keep sharing with you guys what we're doing. You know, like this, right there, you know, between the street and the sidewalk. Can you imagine if everybody did that and grew stuff there? There would be no hunger. There'd be no hunger at all. And we're, you know, now we're facing food shortages like we haven't seen in our lifetimes and, you know, in many generations. It's time for us to make a change and do things right, and we can. And again, you could do stuff like our brother David. You could use anything for a pot pretty much and just, you know, stick stuff here, stick stuff there. And it's amazing how much you could grow, you know, when you really set your mind to it. a garden plot for 2 to 4 people. So they're showing 15 feet wide, about 40 feet long. And let me think about what we got right now. Yeah, we have one that's 9 by 14, and then we have 2 that are like 8 by 24. So pretty good. Plus we got stuff in pots everywhere as well. So my friends, thank you so much for your support as always. Thank you for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. You keep us rolling and going and digging in the dirt and having fun.
Yes, you guys do keep us going, and you keep us inspired with your comments and all of your good vibes, and we so appreciate you.
Yes, and anybody that wants a Vedic chart done, just reach out to Cindy, or any sort of energy work. You could reach out to Cindy, or you could reach directly into evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com. We love you guys. Stay safe out there. Stay sane. God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.